Hi everybody, Miss Hudson here. Today I'm going to do a how-to video for making shelter for your peeps. In order to do this project, you'll need to collect some resources. One resource that you'll need is some cardboard, like a box. I got this great box from the bakery and it's going to make a good base for my shelter. Another thing that might help you make a shelter is a paper bag. So a paper bag is kind of crumply. It has this cool texture. You can color on it. This will be a really good part of making shelter too. Some tools that you might need when you're doing this would be something like scissors. Maybe you need some tape. Or maybe you want to use a glue stick. That might work better for you. And you might want some colors, like some markers or some colored pencils or some crayons, depending on what you like to use. So the peeps that I made, these little human figures here, are inspired by early humans in this book, the first drawing. And when I thought about the shelter that those early humans use, I remembered that there was a part in the book that looked like this. It said, "You live in a cave with your parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers, uncles, aunts, many cousins, and your wolf shadow. It's a big cave." And then on the next page, they show how the main character, the creator of the first drawing, goes to where he can see animals at the river and watches the river go by. And I thought about how having a shelter close to a river was really good for survival. So I made these peeps that are like prehistoric humans, and I made some pets for them. And now I'm going to put them back in their basket and we're going to make some shelter. So everybody's going to go back in the basket. Whee! And I'm going to get out that box that I got. So this box, which let me see if I can move the camera so you can get a little side view here. This box kind of opens up like this. It has these flap parts here. The bottom is nice and big. Everyone can definitely fit in there. That's good. I can turn it on its side. That's an interesting way to view it. I'm going to move this box around until I get a sense of how I want it to open and close. So let me see if I can set you up to really view that. I think for this box, I want, let's see, it should be on its side. It should be upside down like this. Ooh, that might be a good way to do it. Oh, yeah, I think that's how I want to do it. So, let's see if you can see what it looks like from the other direction. So you can see that the box is kind of upside down and I used the lid to be the bottom. And then I've made a nice overhang with this part. Why would it be important to have an overhang for a shelter? Can you think of why? Because it might rain and you want to have some protection from the rain, or it might be snowing and you want protection from the snow. So you need a little bit over the top to protect you from the weather. Let me see what I can do to stabilize this, because if I mess this right now, it just sort of falls apart. So I need to engineer a solution to that problem. The box just falls apart, but I want it to stay in that cave configuration. So let's see what I can do about this. All right. So I'm going to close the box a little bit like this. And I think this would be a good time for some tape. Get my tape. And I'm gonna put a piece of tape where it will hold this flap in place. If you have something like a cereal box and you want to think about how you might make this same kind of overhanging shape with a cereal box, there's one way to do it. You could open it up so it's nice and flat, and then kind of bring the overhang over the top and think about how people could take shelter underneath. And then we need to do something so that it doesn't just flap down or fall apart. So one thing that engineers do is they figure out solutions to problems. If you have a problem like your box falling down, then you might need to find a way to attach it so that it can't move that way. I added some pieces of tape, and that kind of made my box very cave-shaped. Now I think that this has more of a box shape. It doesn't seem very much like a cave because it's got such straight lines and it looks like, I don't know, it looks like a box still. I know that I could use the paper bag to give it some texture, or I could use my scissors to cut along the edge to give it some texture. I think I'll try that first with the scissors. And I'll just cut across the top of the box. I'll make a fun cave shape. There, it already looks a little more like a cave. I think I'll do the same thing along here, just make it a little more irregular, like it's rocky. So I'm using the resource of cardboard as a model for the resource of stone and cave outcroppings that early people used for shelter. It's just a model. I want to think too about what this shelter might have near it that would help people to survive. In the book, I saw that there was a river near the shelter. So maybe I could think about how in my model I might show some water sources. I have some nice blue scrap paper here, and I could take this blue scrap paper and I could make some river shapes. And maybe I could put that near to my cave. Maybe it would run alongside it. So there's a water source near my cave. Let's think about what I might do on the inside that would make my cave look really cool. Well, if I have a paper bag like this, especially if you have a brown paper bag, it's even better. But if you have a nice crumply paper bag like this, you can make a really cool cave wall texture. And I recommend that you kind of fit the bag to about how big your cave is. Maybe you fold it to kind of mark it. Oh, it's about that big. Put a little fold in there. And I would just sort of rip this off. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to rip kind of along that fold line. Because you can always kind of press it in. If your bag has a seam like this, see how I can show you. If the bag has a seam like this, you can try to pick it apart carefully. And you might open a nice big piece of textured paper. Look at that. Ooh, mine even has a hole in it. I got a special prize. All right, so I loved that this book, the first drawing, was about someone making a drawing on a cave wall. And that's based on real cave paintings that exist in France, in the continent of Europe. So these kinds of cave paintings really inspire me, and I'm thinking about the invention of drawing. In this book, this human uses charcoal sticks from the fire and draws on the wall with the charcoal from the fire. I'm not going to use charcoal today. It's a little messy, but I do have some crayons that would work pretty well. I'm going to get those out now. All right. I have a nice dark crayon. I could probably find, ooh, I like this color too. Black is really good for looking like charcoal. And this sort of reddish brown is nice. That's like an earthy color that ancient people could have made. All right, so I'm thinking about if my paper goes inside my cave like this. And it's sort of tucked inside. Where is the painting going to be at? I have to think ahead. All right, so looking in here, where do I want the painting, the cave painting, to be like? Well, maybe I want it to be back against this part here so that the people standing here could look up and see the painting right there in front of them. So I'm going to make a little mark with my crayon. I guess the top of the painting could be about here inside the box, and it shouldn't go much lower than here. That's kind of the bottom of the back of the cave. So now, because it's much easier to draw on a flat surface, I can move my entire cave. Wow, I have superpowers. I can move a whole cave. I'm going to fold this other part out of the way because I don't need it right now. And I'm going to kind of outline my cave painting area, just so I know where the boundaries are and I have a good place to work. Well, let's see. In this book, a character sees a woolly mammoth and draws a woolly mammoth on the wall. I could draw a woolly mammoth. Maybe I'll try copying the cover of this book. That seems like a good challenge. All right, so I'm going to put the book right next to me. So I'll be looking back and forth at it, and that helps me draw what I need to draw. So I'm going to notice where the top is, come around with the back, down to the tail, around the leg, and up, and around another leg, and up. Oh, and now that part I can't see. He's standing right in front of it, but I see another foot here, and then I see the trunk coming out here. Oh, I love drawing a spiral. That's so fun. And I see he's got a bump here, and then a kind of line, and then the woolly parts. Oh, and this must be part of the woolly parts too. These wavy lines, showing how woolly he is. Oh, and the tusks. Look at those great big tusks. Oh, and the little eye. Can't forget that. The little ear. Both of those important adaptations. I think this must have been more wavy lines coming down here. And I could go back in. I could add a little other colors to this. I could add some background colors. The wonderful thing about the texture of the bag is that it kind of makes it look like stone, like the way stone has that crinkly texture. And it helps because it really blends in with sort of quick scribbly lines. Not too scribbly. You have to try to be making something, but yeah, look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh, I hope you draw something that you love too. Bringing the cave back. Take this, put it inside, tuck it in, use some tape to attach it, and voila, a shelter for my peeps with a painting they can enjoy. Let's get some peeps in there. Welcome home to your shelter. All right, thanks for watching, friends. See if you can give it a try. Bye-bye for now.